I wasn't insulted by the Marine Corps stuff. I was insulted by the suggestion I went to Harvard. I went to Princeton, okay? I want to tell you guys a story. I got to keep this under 10 minutes, I've been told, or under 12 minutes. This is a story about a couch. This is a story about a very ugly green couch in particular. On my second deployment to Iraq, I was stationed at a town on the Syrian border called Al-Qaim. And the day my Marines and I arrived, there was a group of Al-Qaeda operatives that snuck across the Syrian border in the middle of the night, and they were dressed in Iraqi army uniforms, and they slaughtered about 50 people in the local village. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I commanded the intelligence team, and so it was my job, even though I just arrived, to figure out what was going on. I was supposed to know more than anyone else what was going on, and so we turned to it day and night. We started trying to track down the terrorists that had done this. And we knew that some of them had gone back to Syria, but some of them had also hidden in the local population. In particular, we knew there was this one guy who was not only involved in this, but involved in a bunch of other attacks before, who was there in the local village. We knew it. We knew with 99% certainty where he was, the house he was in. And we kept going to the house. We kept interrogating everyone who was there. We kept turning over all the furniture, scouring the whole place inch by inch, and yet we couldn't find this guy. It was not only frustrating, it was embarrassing. For the United States military, with all our technology, all our might, we could not find this one guy. And so, more out of desperation than anything else, I went with some of my Marines to that house one last time, and we started talking to everyone there. We started turning everything over and looking inch by inch, and all the women and the children were in this one room sitting on an ugly green couch. I'll never forget this. And something was up. I started talking to him. Something was going on. I couldn't figure it out. I just thought it was my sort of stilted formal Arabic, but something was going on, and I couldn't figure it out, and so I asked them all to leave the room, and I did something that I'm not proud of. I gave up. I sat down on that ugly green couch, and I put my head in my hands, and I just started like swearing in English and Arabic and some language I just made up on the spot in anger. And I thought I'd failed, right? I'm sitting there. I couldn't even do my job. This was my job to figure it out, and I couldn't do it, right? So we apologized to everyone. My Marines and I left, and as we were about to leave the village, we got a call from this guy that we knew who lived there. And he started screaming, "He's in the couch, he's in the couch." I said, there's nothing on the couch. I was just there. He's like, no, he's in the couch. I'm like, what? There's nothing on the couch. And so for the next 5 minutes, I was engaged in sort of a bizarre Iraqi version of Who's On First. Like, he's on the couch, he's in the couch. But sure enough, that bastard was in the couch. You see, we failed to notice that there was a secret compartment in the side of the couch. And every time we went there, this guy hid in that couch. And even though we flipped it upside down, he didn't make a sound, and we didn't notice the panel that you could remove and get inside that couch. And so we got the guy eventually, and all the after-action reports sort of conveniently failed to mention the fact that I had been sitting on said couch just before. I bring this up. George Orwell once said that to see what is in front of one's nose needs a constant struggle. Put differently, to see what's inside the big, green, ugly couch that you're sitting on is hard, right? And we all got them. We all got green couches, conservatives, liberals. We got long-held beliefs or bits of groupthink that are wrong, quite frankly. We have lazily held assumptions that we don't want to burn calories re-examining. That's what's been awesome about this conference. That's why I came, right? Because you guys have forced me to challenge like all my stupid little ugly green couches that I have, right? Whether it's on gerrymandering or Citizens United. Man, I just heard about that judge and sheriff election thing. Now I have to go back and research that. That made too much sense to me. And I thank you for that. That's amazing. We need to do more of that. But at the risk of being a buzzkill, I want to push back a little bit, all right? I want to say something potentially unpopular. But let's face it, I'm the token conservative. It's my job to be the buzzkill. Don't be fooled by the fact that I wear untucked shirts. I'm not cool. I want to challenge the premise a little bit, right? So I think we're all sitting on a big, ugly green couch right now. We're all here because we know there's something wrong with our government. And we feel like we have all the tools we need to figure that out and fix it, right? But we just can't quite find it, right? So we go to the house, we create a ruckus, we flip everything over, but it's not there. And so we go and we sit on the big green couch and we say the system is rigged, right? The system is rigged. But what if those 4 words are concealing something beneath that, right? What if there's something else going on? Because after all, while Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders may have popularized that phrase initially, no one has deployed it more effectively than Donald Trump, right? He just gave a speech in Pensacola where he said the system is rigged like 1,000 times. And my concern is that if you allow that to give you an excuse for not conducting some introspection or assuming some responsibility, then it could be dangerous, right? It could be dangerous when Donald Trump says it. It could be dangerous when Elizabeth Warren says it. It could be dangerous when Mike Gallagher says it. It could be dangerous when Jennifer Lawrence says it. I just wanted to say my name in the same sentence as Jennifer Lawrence. But, sorry, I had to do that. What I'm trying to say is that while our system is imperfect in so many ways, right? It can be unfair, it can be manipulated and abused by charlatans on both sides. My God, the system is so fragile. It's America. It's amazing we're still surviving as a country. And it's going to take all of your good ideas and all the good people in this room to ensure that it continues to survive. But to say that it's rigged, I worry, implies something deeper, right? It implies that we have we don't owe the system anything. That we don't have to abide by certain norms and rules of the system, that we can create convenient end runs around the system that will just get us to our preferred policy preference faster than the other guy, or that we can indulge in our worst instincts about the other side. And I worry a bit about that, particularly in the current environment, because I suspect that the system in some way, is reflecting, it's doing what it's always done. It's reflecting broader trends in our society, right? And our society is incredibly divided. And when the country is divided, sometimes the system is meant to move slow. Legislation is supposed to fail in Congress. That's a feature, not a bug of the system. So that gridlock, that's frustrating, and I know it's frustrating. I see the problems. I want to solve it and go home to my previous life, right? But that dysfunction, I think, is downstream from broader societal dysfunction. That fracturing in DC is downstream from fracturing that we see in our own communities, right? That vitriol that you see politicians spew every day on cable news, it's downstream from the vitriol that we spew on social media every single day. And I'm not suggesting in any way that the reforms you're talking about are not important. They are, oh my gosh, and I stand ready to work with you and take risk politically in order to do so. But I just wonder if the best way to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. is to build dams and levees way upstream in our own communities, in our own lives, right? In the systems that should be more important to us, our families, our communities. The best way to unrig the system, I think, is probably just to start with ourselves, with our own conduct, how we engage with other people on social media or IRL, as the kids say. And I've been so excited about how you guys have engaged with me, right? You haven't treated me with hostility, maybe sometimes like a zoo animal, like what's a Republican doing here? I mean, did he lose his way? But it's been awesome, and I've learned so much. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that the system asks us to be perfect, right? The system's built on a recognition that we are so far from perfect, that we all have big, ugly green couches that we sit on, even though we know we shouldn't. And we just have to step back from time to time and make sure that that doesn't become a structure to conceal the very danger that we're trying to guard against. Because you may think the system sucks, and I would not have run for office. I wouldn't be here if I didn't agree with you on some level and I didn't think we can do better, that we need to reform. But I've also spent a lot of time in systems that suck way worse than ours, where people would die for just a fraction of what we have in our system, for the privilege of being able to do something like this And it's made me proud to be an American. And so I just bring up to suggest that I think at the end of the day, I mean, this is the system, right? It's just us trying to figure this whole thing out, trying not to screw it up, trying to leave our little part of the system a little bit better than how we found it. And in that endeavor, we can never give up, and we can never sit on that damn ugly, big green couch. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.